Hey you guys, sorry about the poor lighting. I'm working in my bathroom to show you guys this hair tutorial and I'm forced to make do with what I have, so no natural lighting, I'm sorry. But anyways, so I'm going to be showing you guys how to get this beautiful loose body wave. This is just a very like low maintenance style. You can curl it one day, wrap it up in a bun, 2-3 days later down the line, still wear it. You guys know hair is not my area of expertise, so whenever I find something that's like super easy, like hair for dummies 101, you know I gotta share it. So anyways, I'm gonna show you some of the things that I use to get my hair to look like this. And just so you know, there's more than one way that you can wear this style. You can either wear it traditional down, a little bit in the back. You can part it to one side and kind of let it lay like that. You can do a side ponytail, which is also really cute if you are into that kind of style. Whatever floats your boat. So I'm gonna show you the list of tools. First things first, you're gonna need a comb. I don't know if you dig a wide tooth, rat tooth, whatever, but you need a comb. Never want to curl your hair with tangled hair. It's just not gonna work out that way. Depending on how you want to execute the style, if you want it curled all the way through, like me, as you can see, I kind of have like a straight wave on top and then the curls at the bottom. You will need a flat iron as well as your hairspray of choice. The one that I'm using is by Garnier Fructis, and this one has a hold. It's kind of like they're on a scale of 1 to 5. It's 4 being the next level of strongest. So if you want a tight curl, if you want a tighter traditional curl, that's up to you. I like mine a little loose, so I'm using something that's not too stiff on the hair. Last but not least, oh, I'm sorry, before I forget, a hair clip, because you're going to be working your hair in sections, or if you'd like, you can just use a rubber band. I use a little bit of both, so a hair clip and a rubber band. Last but not least, the most important tool is going to be a curling rod. Love my curling rods. The only difference between this and a regular traditional straightener, excuse me, hair curler, is it doesn't have the rod. I'm sorry, the clip that attaches and detaches. I find this to be very easy because I don't know, it just works. Sometimes when I use the clamp, the hair gets stuck and then you end up with bent looking ends. This to me is just so easy. And this is a Conair brand that I bought from Walmart. I want to say it was $25 and I bought it about 3 months ago. I'm in love with this thing. So for the most part, that's pretty much all you need. I'm going to show you how I sectioned off my hair and we're going to get right into the tutorial. So I'm going to just go ahead and let my hair down. And I like to start in the back. What I like to do is I take about, I'd say about half of my back hair. So I'm going to show you how I section it off. Keep a rubber band on hand and just tie the rest of this up. You're going to have about this much hair exposed right now. About this much. Now, depending on how large you want your curls, that's going to determine exactly how much hair you section. I'm sorry, depending on how, I guess, tight versus how loose you want your curls will determine how much hair you want to use. Generally, I don't really like a tight curl on myself. I like kind of like a looser curl, so I'm going to start off by combing off the hair that I have sectioned. You don't want the hair to be tangled and you want it to be kind of generally straight. It's not like perfectly straight and has a little wave to it, but yeah. So I'm going to start off with this section of hair, about this much. I'm going to take my curling rod and I'm going to start with it. It's going to take some getting used to. I'm actually going to curl upside down. And I'm going to just start to ravel all the way down. And the trick is using your finger. You have to hold the curl with your finger and just try to get as close as possible to the end of the hair, because you don't want to have, unless that's the look you're going for. If you want the straight tips, I don't want no straight tips. So I'm trying to get as much hair as I can around the rod, and I'm just holding it ever so gently with the tip of my finger. And I usually like to count to 15, I count to 20. And what I like to do to release, just let it go and let it fall. So there's the first curl. Take your hairspray, shake it up a little bit, and just give it a few light sprays. Also, how tight you want the curl will also determine how much spray you use. I like my curls to kind of loosen out throughout the day, so I don't put too much hairspray because that will stiffen them up and keep them tighter. So I'm gonna take my next section of hair and just repeat the same thing. Comb it out. Ravel it all the way to the ends as much as possible. See that steam coming up? That means it's working. Count to like 15 or 20. And the thicker the section that you're doing, the longer you want to leave it on, because you really have to let the heat penetrate. If you're using a very thin amount of hair, you don't want it, it's not that you don't want to, but you don't really have to hold it as long because the hair is thin, so the heat's going to be easier to penetrate. Thicker hair, on the other hand, you want to really like let it sit and like go through the hair. And I'm going to let it fall. And then I'm going to give it a spray. I spray as I go. I'm not a hairdresser, so I don't really know what other people's techniques are. I don't know if some people just curl first and then spray at the end, but this is just what I do. I'm going to take my next section. So as you can see, I have very, very little hair left on the ends. Tried it, not even like that's an inch, and I wouldn't even try to get that. Like I would really try to ravel that as much as possible. Don't burn yourself. Don't burn yourself. I can't pay if you burn for your fingers, okay? Be careful, be very, very careful. And hold it, hold it, hold it. Sometimes what I like to do is pull from opposite ends, so I'll really pull with this hand, and then I'll really pull with the iron to really, really like, how can I explain it? To really, really like tighten the curl and make sure that it's making as much contact as possible with the iron. So pull on both ends and then let go. And give it a quick spray. Then I'm gonna start to work my way on the other end. Now, whatever side of hair you're doing, you're going to use the opposite hand. If you're working on the right side of your head, you're going to use your left hand. If you're working on the left side of your hair, you're going to curl with your right hand. So now that we're on our right side, my right side, I'm going to take my rod with my left hand, upside down again, and just go all. This to me, guys, because y'all know I don't be doing hair, this to me is like curling for dummies. Like, you can't mess this up. You really can't. I mean, you can if you really think about it, but this to me is just so much easier than using a curling iron because I don't know, something about the clamp that comes attached to it. Like, I just cannot get it right sometimes. Like, I really have to work at it. And I mean, you guys have seen my videos. I've done it before, but this to me is just a little bit more user-friendly, I think. And drop. And also, if you want a tighter curl, I'm sorry, how can I put this? If you want a more shorter coiled curl, you're going to try to ravel the hair as close to the base as possible. And I'll show you what I mean by that. I'm going to drop. See how these curls lay versus these? These kind of wind a little bit down longer, and these are a little bit more plump. This is from raveling it all the way down to the end of the barrel, and this is stopping it about halfway down the barrel. So if you want, you're going to get a fuller curl. So I guess essentially it's going to be a little bit tighter. But you still get the effect of having a looser curl, if that makes sense. Next, what I like to do is I do the side. I do like the sides of my hair. So I'm going to take this section, and I'm going to take this section. And what I like to do, since I have my own hair, this is my natural hair exposed at the top, I like to kind of curl the extensions first, and then I like curl my hair, my own hair, and then like blend them all together. That's just easy for me. You know, I'm sure you guys probably have a better technique or whatever, but so I got my section here, and then I start from the back and then work my way to the front. Depending on how thick your hair is, this method like really does not take long at all. It's a fairly quick method, and that's kind of why I like it. And the thing that I like about it is when you curl your hair like this, you can wrap it up overnight, wrap it like in a bun, like in a spiral bun, and the next day you take it down and it still has like the most beautiful like loose wave curl, and it's so pretty, and you don't have to like put double heat on your hair. That's what I really like about this. I'm all about recycling hairstyles. Like if I can do one hairstyle that'll last me 2 or 3 days, I'm all for it. And this is like one of those things. That's why I've been doing this a lot lately. Let it drop. It's gonna get very hot up in her. Okay, switching sides now. Start towards the back. Comb it out. Okay, now we're going to be working in that back section. So as you can see, all this up here, once again, I'm going to take out my own natural hair, and I'm just working with the back extensions. Now for the back areas, some of them can be a little tricky. What you can do is take your first section, and rather than doing the upside down method, you're just going to comb it out. Still going to hold the iron upside down, but you're going to kind of like unravel it backwards and vertical like that. So don't worry about like slanting and all that stuff back here. See, I'm holding it vertically, parallel to the ground. You're ready to drop it, you can tilt it down and let it go. Okay, now we have all the extensions curled out, and I'm gonna run my fingers through it because I like big loose curls. Now for my own hair, that's where switching tools comes in. For my own hair at the top, I actually don't curl it. I use a flat iron, and I just kind of give it like a bump, a little bit of a wave at the bottom. So I start on one side, and I also like to start depending on which way I part my hair. So I usually part my hair on my left side of my face, right around there. So I'm gonna completely section all of my natural hair to one side. Part about this much worth of hair. Take my flat iron, and instead of going straight across the hair like you normally would, you're going to make a semicircle shape as you're with the hair inside of the iron. So just like this. And it's going to do that. And I just do those all the way across, and this is probably the easiest part of the whole process. You want to rotate your iron as you're going across your hair. And then I'm just going to kind of blend it through, run my fingers all the way through. And you can sweep it to like one side if you want and do one of these numbers. You can do like a side ponytail, whatever you wish. And I like it a little bit fluffier at the top, so I'm kind of like really pumping it up. There you go. Let's see what it looks like.